that with the Austrian television, when you work with them with a cinema film, this is a special kind of funding, and this would really, there is no slot for these where they are waiting for the product. So they were at the Vicary, and for 7 years from that point on, we could really year by year explain and listen, give us 1 more year time, and in the end it would be better, and they agreed. But this was very informal, and we couldn't rely on this. It was just nice that basically nobody cared about this film until we finished it. But now, after 10 years, they really said, okay, it's time. And it was good for me, because it's a perfect time span, and I'm very content with the fact that we finish it now. But basically, if you go to television and to the funders now and say, okay, we will start working on a film and you will get the result in 11 years, they will just laugh at you.
Yes, please speak up.
Yes, I just have one question. When there was this scene on the bridge, and the couple spoke about that they lost their son, did you know in front of this scene what you will ask them, or did you tell them about what you will ask, or is it more intuitive way to make films?
Well, I mean, I knew of course what had happened, and we were talking before shooting. I mean, especially when you I don't know, you show up there every 1 or 2 or 3 years and knock on the door and say, hello, it's new. Of course, you talk about everything first of all before you take the camera and shoot it. And in that case, it was really hard for them, and we had a lot of discussions, and they were discussing among themselves, do they want to present this fact in the film, and how do they want to present it? And in the end, they said, yes, but it's part of our lives, and our son is still with us, so it happened during these 10 years, so there is no reason not to talk about it. And then we just had to find a way where we could kind of shoot this interview where they would feel comfortable, where nobody else would be disturbing, and that's how it happened. I mean, this scene was kind of developed together. And then at that moment when we were up there, I didn't know exactly what to think and what to ask, but I mean, it's just, the conversation goes anyway.
I would like to remain for a moment with this impression. I don't know if you would share this, but in my view, I think some of your protagonists over the 10 years became rather professional in the way, for instance, like how they found themselves perfect place where they sat down, let's say at the motocross rally. I could only see one bench, and they were sitting on it, and this would lead to my question, if you had the same notion that it was like a kind of them interacting with you also in how they wanted to be seen in the film.
Well, I mean, the truth is a little bit different regarding the scene, because we just agreed we would go there and shoot it, and then the lady simply couldn't stand because her leg was hurting.
Oh.
So we tried everything to organize this bench from somewhere to make them comfortable. And after we did this, some other people did the same. So when we stopped filming, there were 5 or 6 benches like this. So we created a kind of new truth. But I mean, that's what always happens, you know. It is a very big difference, because we are working with people, and we talk to each other, we plan the things. We're not filming animals where you just sit and wait. So I think you would find a lot of scenes in this movie that did not happen like this, as natural as it looks like. But in the end it doesn't matter, because still it is a truth that we found, and we just were translating it into the film.
Another question?
I would like to know how you came to this idea to choose the white film. You already answered, but I've been several times in France, but I was at the shoe factories, and that's just the contrary, because they are building up quite a huge, good alternative fabrication. So you have just put the other side.
Can you use the microphone?
Of the scale.
Yeah, it's just another story. You could make a film about the shoe fabric as well, but this was not the topic. We just wanted to follow those people, and there was no... I mean, they just didn't interfere with all the other parts of the Waldviertel at all. It was not the aim to show a film about the Waldviertel, which would be appropriate. The aim was to follow those people with whatever would happen to them.
I have a relating question to this, and that is, quite a lot of people have asked me this without me having a proper answer. In our this year's program, we have 2 films that deal with textile factories being shut down. One is in Burkina Faso and one is in Waldviertel. And maybe before we have to stop here, I don't know if you have maybe an idea of whether this is a pure coincidence or whether the nature of the textile industry is really something that you know, is easy to show significant changes, or any other idea?
I think it's a coincidence, and I don't care whether my factory is a textile factory or not. It would have been there. It could have been a quarry as well, which would go down and people get unemployed. We didn't want to make a film about the textile industry, and if this film would have been finished next year or last year, this coincidence wouldn't happen. So I mean, you have always in the festival sometimes films that get into a dialogue with each other, but I wouldn't pay this too much attention.
So this is not the end, but a short interruption. Please feel all very, very welcome and invited to go to Audi Berlinale Lounge. It's opposite the Berlinale Palast, gegenüber vom Berlinale Palast, und wenn Sie dort Ihr Ticket zeigen, bekommen Sie vorrangigen Zutritt. Fürs Erste, Nikolaus Geyrhalter, ganz vielen Dank für diesen wunderbaren Film. Ihnen fürs Kommen und noch einen schönen Berlinale Nachmittag. Thank you all very much for coming.